Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. These are three short stories from my book, Starting Out Stories about people kind of starting out in life. And the one I'm going to tell you is called Turning Down Harvard. Then one is called A Scared Teenager. And then the third one is called An MD and His Starving Artist Child. Okay, Turning Down Harvard. At age 6, my parents bought me a Harvard t-shirt. At 10, they took me on a tour there. What I mainly remember was the triple scoop ice cream cone that they wouldn't let me have. In high school, my parents advised me, every Ivy has a crew team, and few kids are willing to get up early in the morning to row. I managed to dissuade them. Would you get up every morning at 5 to freeze your ass off? But I took as many advanced placement courses as were offered, even though that sacrificed extracurriculars and teenagers' less formal pleasures. I took the SAT 3 times. One of my friends took up the tuba, explaining, my college counselor told me that even Harvard's marching band struggles to find tuba players. In April of my senior year, I got the email from Harvard. Your notification is in your portal. For 2 days, I couldn't make myself look at it, and finally, we are delighted to, and the message's last sentence, we invite you to campus on April 24th for a Discovery Day, where you'll meet your fellow admits, tour campus, visit classes, and enjoy a celebratory dinner on us. At Discovery Day, all proceeded as I expected, except for the classes. I thought, useless shit, taught badly. And those teachers, they're no doubt among Harvard's best. After all, they're trying to get us to come here rather than to Yale or wherever. This is what I worked so hard for? This is what my parents are going to spend $300,000 on? The dinner was a buffet with bar-height tables to encourage meeting and greeting. I told a number of students what I was feeling. For example, even though the Harvard diploma is a big deal, it's crazy for smart people to spend yet more time at a student desk taught esoterica but boringly. Schooled in the art of politeness, the students listened respectfully and one even paraphrased me. So, you're wondering whether Harvard is the right choice for you? My typical response, if Harvard, education's pinnacle, is like this, I'm wondering whether any college is the best use of our time. Each student took the first opportunity to escape to talk with people who would cause less cognitive dissonance. When I returned home, my parents sputtered, So, how'd you like the Mighty Crimson? I muttered, fine, and walked out. And I walked and walked until I had an idea. I was going to start a charter high school. Instead of a curriculum larded with what students didn't care about, my school's curriculum would emphasize relationships, money, choosing a career, plus what individual students wanted to learn. There would be virtual mornings at which students at home would complete self-paced simulation and video-rich modules taught online by transformational teachers from all over the world. In the afternoon, students would come to a local community center for extracurriculars. I submitted my charter school application to the school district, which didn't respond for a month, and when it did, imposed 2 pages of requirements that were impossible to meet. When I told my parents, they resumed the pressure. Just try Harvard. Otherwise, what are you going to do, work at McDonald's? Honestly, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Anyway, that was stories called Turning Down Harvard. Next story is called A Scared Teen. I alternate between being scared and sad. Yeah, sometimes I laugh, even when I'm not faking it, but most times I'm flat, or worse. My parents tell me this is supposed to be the happiest time of my life. I sure hope it's not. Maybe if I explain, you'll understand. It may even help explain the explosion in teen anxiety and depression. I think I'm a straight guy, but everyone, our teachers, our textbooks, our counselors, tell us it's cool to be LGBT. I forget the other letters. And especially to be not binary. Yeah, when I was 11, I was curious what it would be like to kiss a boy, but now it kind of grosses me out. I find girls attractive. I mean, I sometimes even get hard just looking at a pretty girl. But that's not cool. Does it make me almost a rapist to just think about doing it with a girl? I almost, not quite, but almost, feel guilty, and definitely uncool being straight, let alone a straight white male. And that brings me to the white male thing. The teachers, the counselors, the textbooks, everything I see on TV, even video games, makes the bad guys white males. If we accomplish something, it's tainted by white male privilege. We're supposed to apologize and even give away our privilege to females and especially to BIPOCs, that's black and indigenous people of color. One part of me thinks I shouldn't feel bad about myself. I mean, my parents and I have worked our asses off for what we've accomplished. But the teachers tell us I'm wrong, that white males are privileged oppressors. I'm sad and certainly scared to raise a question about it. I don't want to be called a clueless racist. When another kid asked about it, the teacher barked, "Your racism is unconscious." Then there's career stuff. I'm no techie, and they tell us the future is tech. AI, ChatGPT, green engineering, not reading. I like to read. No, not the literature in school. That's either hard or more white male bashing. I like, would you believe, the Hardy Boys. But I'm scared to admit that to anyone. What kind of career is there for someone who likes the Hardy Boys? Cop? Everything I read and see says that cops are bad. I'm scared I'll end up like my uncle, who at age 40 is still a reservationist at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. My parents own a cafe and work 1,000,000 hours a day. Almost every customer is happy with the cafe. It's a chill place with great pastries and soft sofas. My parents are capitalists, and it does so much good for people, not just my parents' cafe, but my iPhone, the birth control pill my sister uses, the room I'm sitting in writing this to you, most things. They've got to be more useful than all the taxes and regulations that keep my parents at their desks till after I go to bed. Yet everything the school teaches, everything I read, everything I watch makes capitalists seem like greedy monsters. My parents and their friends who also are business people are not greedy monsters, I swear. But in school I'm scared to say anything. I see that when students disagree, the teacher will sigh and certainly not smile, which they do when students agree with her. I feel scared and lonely. I'm sitting here writing this to you when I should be working on my college applications, but I keep procrastinating. I don't know if that's normal teenage procrastination or that I'm scared that college will make me even sadder and more scared. When other kids procrastinate, they do alcohol or weed, but I don't want to do that. I am so uncool. I hate myself. Anyway, that story is called A Scared Teen. The final story I want to read to you is called An MD and His Starving Artist Child. Yes, I'm tired, often overwhelmed. You would think that after all those years of pre-med, medical school, internship, residency, and setting up a practice, I'd be entitled to a pretty good life. Yet the Medicare and insurance reimbursements keep getting cut. They think doctors are fat cats to be redistributed from. But when you consider the cost of medical school, of malpractice insurance, setting up an office, paying staff, I sometimes wonder if garbage collectors net more. And all the idealism that fueled my willingness to endure all that has faded. Too many non-compliant, non-paying, or know-it-all patients. Too much paperwork only to often get my request for reimbursement denied or cut. And the stress. I'm making life and death decisions all the time, and sometimes must give bad news, even fatal news. Plus, it's hard to keep up with what's new. My medical journals are piling up unread. It reminds me of why I canceled my subscription to the New Yorker. I kept feeling guilty I didn't have time to read them. Yet when my daughter insisted she didn't want to be a doctor, not even go to college, but only art school, I was sad. Art school? That 4-year summer camp that too often leads to the cliche starving artist, never making enough even to pay back student loans, let alone make a living, even a subsistence living. That's especially so in an era of ever better AI-created art. So I decided to tell her that I wouldn't pay for art school, but would pay for college, as long as her major was even vaguely practical. She enrolled at a local state university, which made sense to me. Despite my moderate net income, I'd still get little cash financial aid, and today the sticker price of 4 years at a brand-name coastal private college is $300,000 plus, and not much less at a brand-name out-of-state public college. And that assumes she graduates in 4 years. It often takes 5 or longer, and almost half drop out. When she was home for Christmas, she left her transcript on the kitchen table. It was emblazoned with her major, studio art. I told her that unless she switched majors, I wouldn't pay. She showed that she is the independent woman I encouraged her to be. She dropped out of college, and rather than come back home, she lived with 3 roommates in a dangerous part of the city. She paid for it with a part-time job as a clerk in an art supply store, plus government welfare programs, food stamps, housing subsidy, transportation vouchers, some cash aid, even free admission to tourist attractions like museums. I came to visit her and found her happy, candidly happier than I am. She said, "I would rather be a starving artist than a burned-out doctor. Dad, are you sure you shouldn't consider a career change?" I said no, but as I was driving home, I started thinking. Anyway, those are 3 short stories from my book, Starting Out Stories. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel, or to check out any of my 27 books, including the book Relationship Stories. All of them are on Amazon. Just search my name, Marty Nemko, Nemko, and you'll find it, Nemko. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko.